Guys, we've got a brand new scandal shaking up the MMA world. This time, all eyes are on none other than Nate Diaz, a true UFC legend, one of the most controversial and straightforward fighters in the history of the sport. And, as you'd expect, Nate once again spoke his mind in his very own style. His target? Khamzat Chimaev. Diaz went off on Chimaev's performance against Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 319. While many fans and analysts were impressed by Khamzat's total domination, Nate saw it from a completely different angle, which honestly isn't surprising, since their beef goes back years, all the way to the fight that was supposed to happen between them, until Nate pulled out at the very last moment. But listen to what Diaz said, and I quote, "I don't like fighters like that. They're too boring for me. He's this big, scary guy, completely controlling his opponent on the ground and landing these little slaps instead of real punches. People don't realize it, but that just shows he was scared for his life." Strong words, right? But Diaz didn't stop there, he continued. He was throwing short little punches instead of big shots because he was afraid the guy would get up and he'd have to fight him on the feet. He walks in looking like this big scary monster, but deep down, he's just a little scared kid. That's why I posted after the fight that he's not even a real fighter. Basically, Nate just called Khamzat a scared child instead of a fighter. That's probably one of the harshest and most disrespectful statements Chimaev has ever faced in his career. But let's be real here. Despite all the trash talk, Chimaev took almost zero damage, avoided injuries, didn't eat any serious shots, walked away with the belt, and cashed in millions. On top of that, he's still undefeated. Meanwhile, Nate Diaz has always been more of a mid-tier fighter, never held a UFC title, and has racked up 13 losses throughout his career. So it's not hard to see where all this bitterness and maybe jealousy is coming from, especially considering the fact that Nate once pulled out of a fight with Khamzat. Now, let's look at it logically. Modern MMA is a results-driven sport. Khamzat dominated every single round, completely controlled Du Plessis, and left him with no chance at all. Sure, maybe the ground strikes didn't look as flashy as fans would want, but that exact strategy made him champion. So who's right in this situation? Nate Diaz with his old school real fight mentality? Or Khamzat Chimaev, who's playing the game smart, winning, making money, and staying healthy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And let's be honest, Diaz versus Chimaev will probably never happen. Because at this point, it would just be a one-sided beatdown that nobody really wants to see. Hit that subscribe button because we'll keep covering all the biggest stories in the UFC world.